What's up, everybody? It's your favorite obvious repaint's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Transformers Legacy Scourge, or is it Nemesis Prime, or is it Shattercast Prime, or is it Shattered Glass Prime? I can never remember. I think it says Scourge on the box. Anyway, this is all known to me from Chris Pinkerton, if you're nasty, of Realm of Collectors, End of the Realm Show, and Crashbox Customs, as well as the co-host of the weekly Nerd Rage Radio podcast, where you can also hear me every week on every available platform. Acting a fool. Anyway, we are going to look at this guy, but in order to do so, we do need to look at accessories. So he comes with a pink sword. It's translucent plastic. The sculpt is decent enough. I probably wish it would have had the hilt painted and just the blade would have been pink, but what are you going to do? The good news is he'll hold it just fine. He also comes with this. It's like a little paddle. He'll paddle you like a pickleball paddle. He'll paddle you to death with it. It's translucent pink plastic here, and then this piece folds up, or you can have it extended. He'll hold that just fine. You can also insert the sword into this, like, in my opinion, make it look even worse, but it's something it can do. He comes with the trailer, which is kind of its own bag of wax, really. As you can see, 5mm ports, you know, all over the place, so you can kind of add and subtract stuff from this all over. But if you want to transform it, you just take this piece open there, and then this one down here, and that'll allow you to split these two sections. And then you can kind of, we're just going to kind of fly through this. You can do a number of different things, right? You have this armature here. If you want to, you could bring in your figure and sort of have him being worked on this way if you want. Let me back out just a taste. You can spin this, double this over, and then you have like this armature out here that can kind of work on the vehicle mode of things. You have this turret up here. Whoa, I wasn't supposed to do that. I thought it could spin. This is removable, this turret. And then you can use this for him to hold as a gun. It can peg in his back. It can be utilized in any 5mm port. But that's not all, folks. You can also store the weapons in here. With these two clips on the side of the hilt, they'll go into those two little notches there. And the same thing can be done with this shield or whatever this is on this side. And then it can kind of all be stowed inside of the vehicle mode if you so desire. Gimmicks wise, these pieces here can open up to kind of show missiles, if you will, which is fine. Lastly, he does have the same space in his chest for a Matrix, but I do not see a Matrix in this set, so maybe he does not come with one, like even like a little dark Matrix or anything. But he can stow a Matrix if he gets it from Prime inside of there. Alright, so we'll get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis. We have turquoise paint on there, and we have light piping. You know how I feel about light piping. It has no place in the modern market. It rarely ever works. You rarely ever light your shelves from the back. That's my opinion. You know, don't at me. The turquoise paint on it does look nice, as does the silver paint accents both on the visor and the, not the visor, but the mouthpiece and the little crest there. So I'm good on that. The head is on a ball peg, I know, because it comes off the ball peg relatively easily. But you get little to nothing down, nothing up. You do get a swivel of sorts, but that's about it. And then you have the shoulders, right? So the shoulders have translucent plastic in them. They also have these turquoise accents, and they have a little bit of silver accent on the side. But that's just the kind of pauldron, right? You also have these flaps here. They'll get up and out of the way. This whole thing will move, actually. You can get the shoulder up past 90 degrees if you rotate it at the, like, inverse, you know? You can, but even at the regular joint, you can get it to 90 degrees. And you can get 360 around. Well, not 360 because you end up bumping into all that mess, but you get it until you wouldn't need it. Do you know what I mean? Bicep swivel. Good look at the mushroom peg there. That's to save money on plastic pieces. That's why that's there. And then you have what I mean by that is if they were to encase this, it would be another piece of plastic that would have to go around it. So when they do the mold, they can easily do it with just one piece here. And it's still functional, right? I guess not the biggest deal in the world. Then we have a single hinge elbow that gets you 90 degrees and a wrist swivel. No accents there. Let's back out a little bit. We have a waist swivel. It feels like this is something that you could have done an ab crunch with, but there's none there. All of this stuff is kind of the same as the other. And then we have some accents to talk about. So we have some turquoise paint, some translucent plastic, it looks like, with silver underneath. The turquoise paint really does look nice, and it does pop. Some silver paint down there as well. Universal joints for hips. Get you the full Van Damme and the full Monty. Thigh swivel. Knee joint, single hinge that gets you past 90 degrees with some decent sculpt work on the hips. Some turquoise accents on the lower legs. We'll back out now for the big picture. No ankle tilt up, no ankle tilt down. You do get a rocker. That works well enough. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's functional. There it is from the back. You know, I'm not... There's something off about this one, too. I think it's the head. But I'm not sure if it's because it sits too far back or something. But proportionately, there's something off about this one, too. I don't hate it as much as I hate the drag strip, for instance. But I don't think they nailed it quite as well as they nailed the Motor Master, if that makes sense. But it's fine. Size comparison wise, there he is with the only other one. Like, that's not true. I actually have other stuff in the line. I just thought of something I can show you with him. So I'll do that here momentarily. But there he is with the drag strip. Just two that I think that they both have proportion issues, just kind of inverted proportion issues. But doesn't mean that they're bad or that I hate them. It just means it's something that stands out. For the most part, I think they're done okay. So there he is with a Mold Mate, the kind of the good guy version. And this is on loan to me from Rockstar Adam. I think I only have one more piece of his to look at, so to speak. But there they are together. I think deco-wise, I actually prefer the Scourge mold, but if you were curious how they would look in concert, there is your answer. All right, let's get them transformed. So the first thing that we're gonna do is flip up our knee pads, just because I will forget to do it if we don't do it right now. You can also just collapse the legs together, collapse the feet together, and then rotate the hips. You can move these fuel tanks out. They don't really like lock in place, so there's a good chance that they'll collapse through the transformation, but you can do it. All right, so I'm just gonna get a look at what I'm doing here. You want the biceps to be offset, like the Migos. So open that up, open this up here, flip the hand in. Same on this side. Flip the hand in. And free some of this stuff up. Open up the backpack. Open up the chest. And we got to get access to all this stuff. So flip out the arms. Separate all of this. Flip these pieces down. The chest collapses once and then twice. That will flip the head around into this little cavity here. Make sure the head, see that head keeps popping off that ball peg for me. Into that cavity here. I believe you can fold this down. Or is that might have been supposed to be down already. I can't remember. I don't know if it'll collapse. No, so let's just keep that up. All right, so bring the arms over and in so that they square up, the shoulders square up nicely with the head, so to speak. And then you want to make sure that what am I doing here? That is to the front so that the kind of hips can swing down and then swing back. Then we'll start closing up all of this stuff. We'll bring the front of the truck forward. We'll bring this down. We'll bring these down. They'll tab into the sides here. And then you can fold the elbows down and they'll tab into the back. And there you have it. And for the most part, I'll clean it up and we'll take a look at it. And there it is. I think it's fine for the most part. I think it rolls. The paint deco is nice on the effects on the truck. The translucent windows and stuff are kind of not opaque enough where it doesn't, you know, look distracting. I think it looks fine. I don't really have any real issue with it, other than like I don't find it to be the most elegant of all things, but I don't know that it needs to be either. I think it's ultimately okay. Rolls, does what it's supposed to do, I guess. There it is next to Tiger Tracks, but let's also connect it with the trailer. And that's a nice connection, you know, I don't know, looks fine to me. Final thoughts wise, we'll start with the negatives, and they are as follows. I know this sounds petty, but I think the weapons look really cheesy. I'm not sure what the answer is there. Maybe painting the hilt, maybe not going with the translucent plastic for the weapons. I'm not exactly sure, but it doesn't look good, and I don't think it does this guy any favors. There is a bit of a proportion issue. I'm not gonna lean too heavy into it, but there is something there. There's also a little bit of limited articulation, partly due to like the mass on his shoulders. You can't really help that. That's a character thing. But also no ankle tilts up, no ankle tilts down. I think they probably could have put an ab crunch in this guy. And the elbows are limited as well. I think the trailer like gimmick doesn't really feel thought out. It feels kind of thrown together in sort of a last minute effort to make something work. And that's about all I got. But I do have some positives as well. I think that the metallic turquoise does this guy a lot of wonders in regard to aesthetics. To be fair, there's not a ton of paint on him, but where it is applied clean, and it does bring a lot of life to the character and the figure that wouldn't be there otherwise. I do think that the transformation is at least interesting. It does some pretty simple things to pull off some pretty complicated movements, if that makes sense. So I find it to be quite smart in that regard of being sophisticated and yet simple. And we have been seeing a lot of pins over like tension hinges and stuff, and I continue to enjoy that from the Hasbro Transformers main line. So I mean, it's fine. It's a fair recommend. It's a soft recommend if you're into it. It's nothing that's mind-blowing to me, but it's nothing awful either. It's just sort of like really good at being average. I mean, I buy plenty of average stuff week to week, so I can't fault anybody else for doing it. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.